By midnight, Awele woke up to realize that she could not move any part of her body. It was as if something was holding her down, making it difficult for her to move. For hours, she remained stuck on the bed and struggled to regain control of her body. Once morning came, Awele felt as though a weight was lifted from her body as she stood up from her bed terrified. Once upon a time, a girl named Awele went to the village market to buy some clothes. It was almost Christmas, and her father gave her some money to buy some new clothes for Christmas. Filled with excitement, Awele rushed off to the village market. She decided to buy some used clothes, which seemed to be way cheaper than the new ones sold in the clothing stores. She arrived one of the popular thrift sellers in the market and began to sift through the heap of clothes that she had on sale. After a few minutes, Awele caught sight of an extremely beautiful dress, which seemed to grab her attention. She immediately set the dress aside and continued to search for other dresses that she liked. Not long afterwards, another young woman grabbed the dress that Awele had set aside and tried to pay for it. Awele, realizing what had just happened, confronted the young woman and said that the dress was hers, but the young woman seemed so determined to pay for the dress, and this resulted in an argument which attracted the attention of the thrift seller, who intervened and handed the dress over to the other woman, who offered to pay more money for it. Awele, filled with so much fury, left the thrift store and marched home in anger without buying any clothes. She was extremely angry as she could not believe the injustice that was meted out on her. She told her father all that happened, and her father advised her that in life, some things are not worth killing oneself over, and that Awele should visit another shop instead. And Awele, despite being pissed, decided to do as her father had advised. A few days later, Awele decided to visit the village market again. This time, she went to another thrift vendor, and to her amazement, she saw a dress which looked exactly like the dress that was unjustly taken away from her. Awele, without wasting any time, paid for the dress and returned home extremely excited. She tried on the dress and could not believe how beautiful it looked on her. The beautiful dress reminded her of her late mother, who had something similar when she was alive. The thought of this moved Awele to tears as she hung the dress in the corner of her room. This was a few days to Christmas, and Awele's father informed her that her twin cousins would be coming over to theirs to spend the Christmas with them. Awele was so excited to hear this, as she had not seen her twin cousins in a very long time. The day of their arrival came, and Awele was so delighted to reconnect with them after so many years. They spent their time laughing and talking, and before they knew what was happening, it was already night. Awele bid them good night as she returned to her room to sleep. It was the eve of Christmas, and Awele was extremely happy at the thought of wearing her special dress the next morning. By midnight, Awele woke up to realize that she could not move any part of her body. It was as if something was holding her down, making it difficult for her to move. For hours, she remained stuck on the bed and struggled to regain control of her body. Once morning came, Awele felt as though a weight was lifted from her body as she stood up from her bed terrified. She rushed to go talk to her father, but realized that he was no longer in his room. Confused as to where her father could have gone so early, Awele decided to check on her twin cousins and realized that they too were nowhere to be found. This was so concerning, as Awele wondered where they could have gone. She waited for them for hours, but her father and cousins did not return. It was Christmas Day, and Awele could hear the jubilation of her neighbors. She walked around, asking everyone she came across if they had seen her father, and one of her neighbors revealed that she saw Awele walking out of her hut with her fathers and cousin trailing her behind. Awele looked at her confused, as she could not remember anything of such happening. She returned to her room and tried to wrap her head around what her neighbor had just said. As she was thinking, Awele realized something strange about her dress. It had some strange muddy stains on it, stains that weren't there the day that she hung it up in her room. Confused as to how the stains got there, Awele's mind was taken aback to her strange experience during the night when she felt a strange presence in her room and was unable to move.